Auditorium, the Duke Blue Devils and the Marquette Golden Eagles into what should be a spirited affair tonight here in KC. Impressive performances a night ago by both Marquette and Duke. Both are unbeaten, both are ranked, and both are in search of the CBE Classic Championship here at Municipal Auditorium here tonight. As mentioned, this is a great tournament formerly known as the Guardians Classic, now the CBE Classic, all a part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. A very young but very talented Duke team against Marquette, which was really impressive last night. And what a great challenge for a young Duke team tonight against Marquette, which has one of the best perimeter attacks in the nation.
Well, Bob Knight told us, he said, they're a better team than Marquette. That's how much he thought of them. Their quickness, their trio on a perimeter is as good as it gets, as Jack Nicholson would say. The bottom line is they are so effective. You talk about Matthews, he has range as a shooter. You talk about the jumping ability, the explosiveness of Dominique James. McNeil's a slasher and a driver. Their perimeter people can match up with anyone's perimeter in America. The big question is, can Duke find a way to neutralize the incredible talents of Dominique James?
And for more on Marquette and their outstanding head coach Tom Crean, let's go to the outstanding third member of our crew, Doris Burke.
Dan, Tom Crean uses this concept of visual management extensively. Wherever Marquette basketball is, they are exposed to a variety of stories, ideas, words of wisdom, and they are placed everywhere in the basketball offices, a locker room, the practice facility, you name it. Where does he draw all these ideas from? Well, you can imagine a variety of sources. In the last 8 weeks, the political arena, he sat down with the brilliant Karl Rove. From the athletic arena, when he went to see Dwayne Wade get his championship ring, he sat down with Pat Riley. And of course, most importantly, his peer group. He told me earlier today, you'd be an absolute fool as a coach not to get your hand on every book Mike Krzyzewski has written and read everything you can. This guy is a tireless worker, guys, a voracious reader, great learner, and most importantly, a great teacher.
Doris, thank you very much. This is one to look forward to. Marquette and Duke in the championship game of the CBE Classic coming up. Don't go away. The tip-off is next.
Welcome to ESPN2's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
And welcome back to Kansas City inside a sold-out and noisy Municipal Auditorium, a place where Final Fours were held back in the day. John Wooden won his first ever national championship right here in this building. Let's check out the Star Watch tonight and a couple of outstanding wing players. DeMarcus Nelson, finally healthy, had a career-high 23 last night in a semifinal win over Air Force. And Wesley Matthews, an equally talented player on the wing, scored inside and out 20 points to lead Marquette in their win over Texas Tech. Time now to check out tonight's starting lineups presented by eHarmony.com, and a Duke lineup, Dick, that is the youngest Mike Krzyzewski's ever had in his tenure in Durham.
I thought I was so impressed last night with the way they executed in their 5-on-5 half-court game against the discipline of that matchup zone of the Air Force Academy. DeMarcus Nelson stepped up big time, and Josh McRoberts can really pass the basketball, but has to be a little bit more aggressive offensively to help out all these diaper dandies. Take a look at these diaper dandies. They have been valuable contributors out of the gate for Mike Krzyzewski and Duke.
And one of them stood out last night is Lance Thomas, who had 15 points scoring around the rim early and often. Now Marquette. You remember they went to the Final Four with Dwayne Wade as their star in 2003. Moved into the Big East last year, had a terrific season, won 20 games, 10 in the league, made it to the NCAA tournament, lost their outstanding sharpshooter in Steve Novak, but with Dominique James and friends on the perimeter, if they can get just enough from the inside guys, they might really be a team to fear by the end of the year. And James, I know he impressed the heck out of you last night.
Well, he really impressed me. Tom Crean's been a guy that's impressed me from day one. I told their fine columnist Bob Wolfie about him earlier this year. I said, this guy has such work ethic and is such a winner. The state of Wisconsin is very fortunate to have the combination of Tom Crean and Bo Ryan.
Now Duke, 32 wins last year. They've been to the Sweet 16 each of the last 9 years, but boy, did they lose some talent. That's why they're so young. That's why all of those freshmen are getting so many minutes. But the freshmen are so talented, and Mike Krzyzewski says, you know what? I love coaching this team. They're gym rats, and he expects a very fun season and a season where they continue to get better.
Well, you know, Mike Krzyzewski doesn't want to hear the word rebuild. It's about reloading, like in '99 when they lost the likes of Avery and McGetty and Elton Brand and Trajan Langdon. Then all came a new class. Guys like Dunleavy and Jason Williams and Carlos Boozer, who's now become a dominant force for Utah, who's having a phenomenal year. And this year the same. He loses a bunch of guys, and here comes a new group. That's what Duke is all about. It's the standard of excellence that other programs are trying to elevate to get to.
And Dick, before we get caught up in what should be a great game, a get well to our friend Bob Harris, the longtime radio voice of Duke, who's a little bit under the weather, still doing football, but taking off some basketball games. But we hope to see him back next week in Durham when they take on Indiana.
Yeah, I really miss Bob. He certainly is a guy that really has a great understanding of Duke basketball. Bob, get well and have a great Thanksgiving.
Dominique James misses the 10-footer, and the rebound ripped down by Josh McRoberts, who had 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in the win over Air Force last night.
My only criticism of Josh McRoberts, he's not selfish enough. He doesn't shoot the ball enough. I think he's got to be a little bit more aggressively offensively.
Jameel Lott commits the foul for Marquette. This is now a Duke team. You know, last year the offense almost always came from either J.J. Redick or Sheldon Williams, but on this team, Nelson has stepped up, and it looks like anybody could lead them in scoring on any given night.
Well, this has really been a big test for Duke. Air Force and now Marquette. They'll find a lot more about themselves than in some of the cupcakes that they blew out earlier this year.
Shire turns it over. Numbers for Marquette. They love to run, and Jarrell McNeil can't get it to fall.
That's what they do really well. Forced the turnover the last 3 games. They have forced an average of 24 turnovers. And then, Dan, they create offense off the turnover.
The number 1 goal, the Duke coaching staff said earlier today, was don't turn it over. Keep Marquette from getting out in transition, as they did so successfully against Texas Tech. Lance Thomas nowhere to go, just too many big bodies.
You got to neutralize their transition game, which is keyed off their defense. Al McGuire would have been so proud of this Marquette team. They play so hard. They play with intensity. They really reflect the personality of Tom Crean.
And the 3 perimeter players, Matthews, McNeil, and James, all sophomores, love playing together. All of them can handle, as all 3 already have in this possession. All of them can drive, and they can all shoot pretty well as well. James has improved his shot from a year ago.
And I think one of the great assets they have, their front court, understand their role, screen, rebound.
And they're not afraid to go in there and mix it up with the big guys. Jarrell McNeil banks it home.
From out of Chicago, a slasher. Once he really picks up his perimeter game in terms of shooting the 3, that'll make him much more effective. He can pass. This guy can pass the basketball.
And we have a foul away from the ball. I think it's on Lott, and that's going to be his 2nd already, and that'll force an early substitution.
Well, they have some people they can bring in. Fitzgerald certainly off the bench.
Nice little move there by McNeil, huh?
McNeil's got that little medium-range jump shot. He really likes to attack the basket off the bounce.
And you're right that Dan Fitzgerald has checked in. He's a different kind of a front court player, 6'9", but with perimeter skills, a very good outside shooter. Another steal,
turnover,
and another run as Matthews lays it home.
Look at that speed. Matthews' dad, Wes Matthews, played for Bill Cofield at Wisconsin and played in the very first game ever on ESPN in 1979 against Ray Meyer and DePaul.
Duke 4-1 all-time against Marquette. They have not met since 1994. They're both ranked and both unbeaten entering this game.
Had a chance to do that game 28 years ago. Watch ESPN grow and grow and grow.
Roberts looking inside, lobs it over the head of Thomas, but Fitzgerald is called for the hold.
They worked on that today at the shoot-around, utilizing the size and passing ability of McRoberts to throw that lob to the baseline.
Duke scoreless, almost 2.5 minutes into the game. Last night against Air Force, they executed it beautifully, hitting 12 of their first 14 shots, but not so far here tonight.
Shot 70% for the first half, 60 for the game.
The speed by James when he's called for the double dribble.
He carried it. He told me before the game that he almost went to Michigan State, Purdue, where the other 2 schools could not understand that the Hoosiers of Indiana showed really very little interest. Yeah, he carried the ball. He is so quick, explosive. When you talk about great perimeter players in the game of basketball on a collegiate level, you have to include the name Dominique James.
And even after that turnover, as Nelson comes up short, Tom Crean was clapping his hands saying that's okay. He wants a hectic pace because of the kind of athletes he's got on his team.
As the key player, I think, for Duke is Paulus.
Nelson for three.
Paulus found the open Nelson, a prolific scorer on a scholastic level, the all-time leading scorer in the history of high school basketball in California.
Over 3,400 points. Usman Barrow misses the turnaround, and here comes Paulus. Duke looking for the lead.
They got to get their leadership, and they got to get the guy to really set the tone offensively right there, Paulus.
A tri-captain, even though he's just a sophomore, along with McRoberts and Nelson.
Nice.
Matthews up and under, draws the foul. Again, all of Marquette's offense coming in transition.
Transition off the turnover. They do such an effective job, Doris. When you talk about their ability defensively, Marquette, Paulus is going to have a big game, Doris.
In fact, Duke, Paulus worked for an entire week. Mike Krzyzewski said his football career both helped and hurt. He stands up as a quarterback. What he needs him to do is get down. This time he's down low. He's able to make the pass. A little bit different from quarterbacking skills, Dick. His basketball skills not quite where they will be when he gets a little time under his belt.
And I'll tell you, Doris understands point guard play because she was one of the best when she played at Providence. She was there with Billy Donovan, who used to beat him one-on-one when he used to practice.
Now remember, Paulus is coming back from a foot injury, aggravated a previous injury on the second day of practice. Some scar tissue broke loose, and he missed about 6 weeks, so he's still getting into game shape and still getting comfortable with all of his new teammates.
That's a great point, Dan. Hasn't had a chance to get into the rhythm and flow because was unable to practice.
7'1" Brian Zubek, another freshman for Duke, into the game, and another three for DeMarcus Nelson.
He's going to have a big year for Duke if he can stay away from injuries. The problem with DeMarcus is that he's had a number of injuries, ankle and foot. And what a conditioning program he had. Doris, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later. Amazing conditioning program.
Had a career-high 23 against Air Force last night. Off the leg of Matthews, out of bounds, back to Duke as we check out Nelson's latest three.
There's a little pass out. There's DeMarcus squaring up. Nothing like that three, baby. That three goes down. It really elevates the whole Duke game in their half-court offense.
A couple of years ago, Nelson had a thumb injury, really hampered his shooting. He had a number of injuries last year, played at times, but not at 100%. Here's Zubek, and he sneaks inside of Barrow.
Trust me, this kid Zubek is going to be a big-time player on the collegiate level. He's going to be one of the better post players in college.
Now Paulus with a steal and a lay-in.
I'll tell you one thing about Duke, they will always play with intensity, emotion, and a sense of pride representing that jersey that has had so much tradition.
Give and go, and the extra pass nearly turned over again. A terrific early season test for both of these unbeaten teams. James, the crowd screaming for a walk. He's screaming for a foul. Gets the floater, and it's a two-point game.
It's a little one-on-one play right there. DeMarcus Nelson's being asked not only to score, but to defend and stop the penetration of James. But James got the better of it in that one-on-one matchup.
Dominique James, the Big East Rookie of the Year last year. Great play by Fitzgerald to knock away that pass. Now 5-on-4 for a moment. The lob in for Nelson.
Oh, Nelson came out of nowhere. Zubek thought that was for him. Way look by McRoberts.
Zubek at 7-1. Just saw 6'3" Nelson sky right over him. Look at Shire get up there for the rebound for the Blue Devils.
Shire missed the basketball out of Illinois.
Boy, what a pace. What a start to TV to this game here tonight.
Exciting. Two quality basketball teams going head-to-head here in Kansas City.
McRoberts can do more than score. A great passer. And look at Nelson sky.
Oh, there's Nelson on the baseline. He's a baseline beauty. Up and away.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. And PlayStation 3. Play Beyond.
Well, Duke up by 4 thanks in large part to DeMarcus Nelson again tonight. With more on him, let's go to Doris.
As Dick mentioned earlier, DeMarcus went through a rigorous off-season conditioning program, somewhat non-traditional, worked with an ex-Navy SEAL for 4 weeks on the beaches of California, guys. A non-traditional 2-hour evolution evolutions where he ran the beach, pulled himself up on ropes and monkey bars, ran up hills with a 60-pound pack on his back, guys. He said, I had to heal my psyche. It cost him 12 games last year, that right ankle, Dick, and it got to his confidence. As you know, as a player, you can't play without that confidence, Dick.
Well, hey, Doris, like my workout you saw this morning. My workout, she's laughing. She saw my workout walking through the halls of the hotel. Yeah. I walked for 40 minutes, Doris. Come on, tell everybody how hard I worked.
You also did laps around the court here tonight before the games.
Got to keep in shape. 67, that's why I act 12.
Gerald Henderson into the game, another one to the freshman for Duke. But right now it is the DeMarcus Nelson show.
He's feeling it. He's got the rhythm. He's got the flow.
He's got 3 threes. He's got 11 in all.
And then he's got the task also to play right now Dominic James defensively. Watch the rotation in basketball. They want to go to the hot shooter. They want to go to the guy that's got the hot hand. Look at him swing the ball. That's just team basketball. That's teaching. We saw it today at the shoot-around.
And Dick, twice, the last 2 times down, Zubek has made the pass that has led to the pass that's made the basket. So he doesn't get an assist, but he's the guy who's really started the offense.
Great effort right there by Marquette. Get 3 opportunities. Climb on the glass. Tom Crean certainly learned that trait from working on the Tom Izzo. Attack the glass. Attack the glass.
Usman Barrow with the putback, and Marquette back within 5.
Those kids are so underrated, that baseline. And they have a number of components they can utilize.
We'll see Lazar Hayward, a freshman out of Buffalo, off the bench shortly. Fitzgerald working hard, takes it away.
Transfer from out of Tulane.
McNeil all the way.
That's where they excel. They excel off the turnover. They're explosive. They're going to love them in Milwaukee. They're going to be a fun team to watch. I can't wait till we go there for a game day on Saturday against Pittsburgh.
The final one of the regular season on Saturday, March 3rd.
Should be a lot of fun.
James, McNeil, and Matthews, the 3 perimeter players, combined for 55 points in the win over Texas Tech last night.
Well, that's going to be awful. They're going to be certainly up there in the play.
Another deflection and another steal.
Look at that hustle, both clubs. Look at them diving. Look at them hustling, scrapping, clawing. They're going to make the All-John Madden team. He loves seeing that. He's going to be proud as a coach. Did a great job when he had Dwayne Wade and company. There's the deflection. They pride themselves. They chart deflections. Deflections mean that you're hustling. When you have deflections, block shots, forced turnovers, means you're playing aggressive basketball.
And they take them so seriously, they chart them every single game, every deflection, and a lot of those deflections are winding up with layups at the other end.
One of the sharpest minds ever in basketball created that stat. U.B. Brown, a Hall of Famer, used to coach at Milwaukee with the Bucks. And then Rick Pitino utilizes it as well.
Second foul on Fitzgerald. Maybe trouble brewing on that front for Marquette. Hey, the last 2 NBA champions take the floor on ESPN tomorrow night as Dwayne Wade and the Heat take on Tim Duncan and the Spurs, available in high definition on ESPN HD. And Feast Week continues for Maui. Georgia Tech, which beat Memphis tonight, will take on the winner of the Kentucky-UCLA game for the Maui Championship.
You mentioned Wade and Duncan, 2 guys that really get it off the court as well as on.
Offensive foul on Nelson, taking the charge and bouncing back up, Dominique James.
And Tom Crean, he works harder than anyone on the sideline. He's so animated. Look at this right there. Oh, there's no question. Size differential. James did a phenomenal job to get that. Then a little acting as he goes down. A little acting job. He wants the Oscar. So I'm going to be a Jack Nicholson.
Tom Crean going to his bench for some big guys. Dwight Burke, a sophomore out of Brooklyn, and Lazar Hayward, the aforementioned freshman out of Buffalo, are in. Because Lott's got 2 fouls, Fitzgerald's got 2 fouls. James from the corner not there. And it's out of bounds off David McClure, who's checked in for Duke. It'll stay with the Golden Eagles.
You mentioned Kubiana, you mentioned certainly Burke. They both went to St. Benedict's Prep and played for Danny Hurley, son of Bob Hurley. Bob Hurley, his brother, was a terrific point guard, one of the best ever in college basketball at Duke. Oh, no. No, I waved that off. You waved that off. Reggie Green went right on it.
The crowd still buzzing over that, but obviously no basket. Here's Kubian with the ball, freshman from Venezuela originally, a tough as nails guard who really impressed us last night.
He hit some big threes last night. very physical, very aggressive. He played with Lance Thomas, so you got another Benedict. You got three guys out there.
McNeil to tie. Look at Hayward with the offensive rebound.
Those are those kids. Underrated, scrappers, hustle.
Look how happy Tom Crean is. They are playing his kind of basketball. He will refuse to allow his team to get outworked.
I don't know, maybe it's me, but isn't this like an NCAA tournament?
It does feel like it.
He's got that atmosphere.
Henderson, the son of Gerald Henderson Sr., longtime NBA player, misses that floater. And it'll be out of bounds to Duke as we step aside. Dick, you've seen everything in basketball, but have you ever seen what we saw a short while ago when the ball was kicked into the hoop?
I mean, he's going to punt it into the hoop. There it is. Oh, look at the little kick. I mean, that's unbelievable. Hey, that's Ray Guy used to kick. Ray Guy should be in the Hall of Fame. He defined kicking in the NFL.
One of the best weeks of the college basketball season. Feast Week, 38 games, 11 ranked teams, 6 different cities on the ESPN family of networks. You love Feast Week. It says so right there.
Oh, I love Feast Week. I love to feast, too, and eat like you and I did today.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, did we eat
but
big
good.
time. A Brios down there at the Plaza. Hey, what a great, I'm telling you, the first few minutes of this game, the intensity, the emotion, and the execution.
Yeah.
Both clubs getting after it defensively. Marquette and Duke are going to have big years.
As mentioned, a floor, a building right here where a number of Final Fours were held, including John Wooden winning his first national championship on this floor in 1964. Now McNeil, his shoe isn't all the way on. It's come off the back of his heel as he dribbles the ball into the front court. He's trying to get that shoe on.
He wants to get shoes. We're going to call him Shoes. Shoes McNeil. Shoes McNeil. One day, Al McGuire did that with a player at Michigan State, labeled him Shoes.
Hayward with an illegal screen call for the foul. How about McNeil coming up with yet another deflection, but then almost losing his shoe right there.
They take such pride in that. You know, you mentioned that UCLA team in '64. We talked to the Wizard of Westwood about that last night. I was the club featuring the great backcourt combination, Hazard and Goodridge.
Yeah, it's one of the things.
They beat Duke.
That's right.
Jeff Mullins and company, Vic Bubas' club.
Such great college basketball history here in Kansas City. One of the reasons why the new National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame is going to be located right here in KC. They inducted the inaugural class on Sunday night. They're building a beautiful new building downtown called the Sprint Center, where this tournament is going to be held next year and beyond, and where the Hall of Fame is going to be situated.
40,000 square feet of a college basketball experience. Really, the two guys that spearheaded it were Jim Haney, the head of the NABC, and Blair Kirkwoff, the fine college writer here in Kansas City. He told me Jason Whitlock wasn't feeling well. He's not here tonight. I thought we were going to see him. Turnover.
David Kubian with a carry, one of the points of emphasis in college basketball this season. We've seen it called a lot.
You know, and one of the emphasis on the NBA level is to call a technical and stop whining and crying. And I told you the other day, Jason Whitlock wrote a column that every NBA player should read last Sunday about David Stern and what the great job he's doing trying to set a message to the players. You know, you want to be accountable and responsible for your actions.
Well, and hopefully if it pays off in the NBA, it trickles down to the college and high school levels as well, so the players come up with that kind of a foundation. McRoberts looking for a shot now over Bird. Weak side rebound, Thomas. That's where he destroyed Air Force last night.
He's a warrior. He really is. He's not a guy that you can define, say, as great touch or as a great shooter. He's just an active winner.
And a guy who signed late, waited until the spring of his senior season to commit to Duke.
And said no to Fred Hill and Rutgers and also to Florida and the Gators.
Jarrell McNeil on the drive, banks it home.
Just big-time perimeter players. You rate the top backcourts in America. Marquette is certainly in my top 5. Look at the scoring right there. Nelson and the rest of the club. They're going to get McRoberts. He only averages, I just checked the stats, McRoberts averages 6. There he is right there. He averages 6 shots a game. He is too skilled and too talented. He should take a minimum of 14 to 15 shots a night.
He considered declaring for the NBA draft and leaving his name in there, but had some back surgery in August, is healthy now, but with Redick and Williams gone, they need more offense from him this year. Look at the hops on Thomas for the rebound.
Look at it now. Look at Nelson run the break.
Could not handle the pass from Paulus, though.
They're going to try to get over the top of that screen. They're going to double up. And here's McRoberts. Nobody's there. Nobody rotates over, no communication.
And for a guy his size, Dick, he's got an unusual ability to handle and pass the ball.
Yeah, he's so thrilled with passing. He enjoys passing a lot more than he does shooting.
We've seen two of the best passing big men in America in this tournament, along with Nick Walsh of Air Force. A block from Mick Roberts.
He's such a complete player. Mick Roberts is very complete. He's Mr. Versatility. He finished, by the way, number 3 for Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana, behind James, who was number 2, and number 1 was Mike Bray's Luke Zeller. If there's a guy I root for, it's Mike Bray. He fits the perfect picture at Notre Dame, and he's such a good guy.
Foul committed by Dwight Burke. He'll sit down. A Feast Week college basketball doubleheader comes your way on ESPN2 tomorrow night. The NIT season tip-off from New York, Notre Dame, who you just mentioned, which lost to Butler. Butler will take on Tennessee tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, then at 9 Eastern. A great-looking matchup between Gonzaga and North Carolina.
Well, you got G squared in that game. Really great for backcourt for Butler.
Nelson. The lob and the reverse by Mick Roberts.
So unselfish. So unselfish. Nelson could have shot that, but he said, my buddy Josh has got an easier layup.
James with a reverse.
And Dominic says, anything you guys can do, I can do better. What a great game for this early in the season.
Are you having fun? Is this some kind of fun?
Stealing money, my friend. Been doing it for 28 years.
Back and forth they go. Two talented teams really getting after each other. John Shire from the wing. A 3,000-point score in high school. It'll go over to Marquette, but let's check out that phenomenal reverse from Mick Roberts.
There's the Rock. John Stotts basketball. The Rock, his company. There's the little lob, and there's the reverse dunk by Josh Mick Roberts. Going to see the unselfish. He could have shot that ball. Great look, great eye contact, terrific vision by Nelson. And there's Mick Roberts.
And they've got some video scoreboards at either end up high here in this building. And the fans were oohing and eyeing as they just saw the same replays that you just saw at home.
You know, you mentioned John Wooden. Talking about history, won his first year. Bill Russell led San Francisco to the national championships here. A shot blocker, the winner, the round to fame with the Celtics.
Matthews a little bit out of control. The officials will confer the ball will stay with Marquette.
They've done a great job, Duke, neutralizing Matthews early in this game. Last night he was so effective at 20 points. He was driving. He really created all kinds of problems for Bob Knight's Texas Tech team.
A timeout taken with exactly 8 minutes to go. A 3-point lead for Duke in an intense affair here in Kansas City. The championship game of the CBE Classic has Duke leading by 3. Well, Feast Week coming your way from 6 different cities across the country. Up in Alaska, out in Hawaii, Las Vegas, the CBE Classic here in Kansas City. A new tournament down in Orlando, the Old Spice Classic. And, of course, the NIT season tip-off in New York. It is Feast Week presented by Lowe's, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Wow, Orlando, Mickey Mouse and Company. I love Mickey and Minnie.
3-point lead Duke. Marquette with the basketball.
He walked. He lifted his pivot foot. We're having really a well-officiated game here tonight, too. Reggie Greenwood and his crew.
We'll step aside with a timeout, and Dick, we have got to see that Josh Mick Roberts jam one more time.
Well, I tell you what impressed me here was the unselfishness of Nelson. But there's the high rise of the reverse jam. Josh Mick Roberts out of Indiana.
This telecast is available on ESPN2 HD, presented by Olivia. Great game here in Kansas City. Duke leading by 3. A lot of connections between these two teams. Doris Burke has that story.
Lance Thomas from Duke, Dwight Burke, and David Kubion from Marquette. All products of the same high school, St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey. Of course, their high school coach, Dan Hurley. Now, Tom Crean and Mike Krzyzewski talked about how important it is that these guys are well coached coming out of high school. Dan Hurley, I spoke to him earlier. He said, we spend 8.5 months working on shooting form, passing skills, all of the things these guys need. Dick, when you're well prepared out of high school, makes all the difference in the world.
Well, you know, Doris, they certainly had great teaching there with Danny Hurley, who learned it from his dad at St. Anthony's. Said it last night, and I'll say it again. If people haven't read The Miracle of St. Anthony's, get that book.
No,
well written by Adrian Wojnarowski.
Terrific book.
Terrific book, and it really tells you about lifestyle on a scholastic level.
The lob again, big to big. Mick Roberts to Zubak.
They really worked on that today at the shoot-around, utilizing the skills of Mick Roberts. That's coaching. You study, analyze your players, take advantage of their strengths. The strength of Mick Roberts is his passing ability.
He's got 2 assists tonight. He had 6 last night. Looking for the open man again, and Shire missed the layup.
What a great set of eyes and vision he has, and then the size to shoot over the defense. Off the glass, off the glass. I wonder if he called that baby. I wonder if he called that baby.
Dominique James banks home a 3. He's got 7. The Golden Eagles within 2.
As my former partner years ago, Timmy Brandon, would say, hey, the bank must be open, baby. Look at James right now. I don't think he planned that one off the glass.
Doesn't matter.
John Wooden used to teach that all the time, how to use the glass from especially 12, 14 feet coming down a transition.
Not from 21 feet.
No, not from 21. No, absolutely not. That you utilize when you're playing horse outside. Let's look at Dominique.
Yep.
Love talking to him. He's a fine student as well. Represents Marquette in a positive way.
Now the
Is it a 2 or
officials,
3?
that's what they're checking to see if it's a 2 or a 3. They're
Well,
getting
you
the
got
same
2
looks
eyes.
you
I
are.
got 1. What do you think?
I think it's a 2.
I think it's a 2. I think that foot is touching that line.
Yep.
I think he's slightly touching the line from our angle.
Originally ruled a 3. Reggie Greenwood is over there along with Tim and Esther trying to decide if it's a 2 or a 3.
I don't know. That foot is close.
But I think it's
Take
a
a
2.
look right there. That is close.
Now Mike Eads has joined him. All 3 officials looking at it, and it's a 3 they have ruled.
Wow, they got a 3. Not sufficient enough. I really think it was questionable. I really do. I think it's a good bit of officiating that we were wrong. I have 1 eye, so I got an excuse. You have 2.
Great job by the guys in the truck, too, getting us all the different angles, the same ones the officials saw. They rule it a 3. Marquette within a deuce.
Oh, we got great people. Camera people, director Doug Holmes, producer Dan Steer, all the people, Bonnie, Lauren, they all do a phenomenal job. They carry us.
Zubek flashes, now sets a high screen for Paulus.
I think Zubek's going to become one of the best post players Duke has ever had.
Shot clock at a dozen. Shire tries to scoop it up and in, leaves it short.
He's going through the learning process of the speed of the collegiate.
Whoa, look at a crossover by McNeil.
Look at that offensive rebounding ability.
Barrow crashes the glass, but it's out of bounds to Duke. The way they're calling carries these days, you got to be pretty slick to do this.
Change the direction. Change. What's that, Timmy Hardaway? That's Timmy Hardaway years ago. Wow.
He left Shire in his dust. Let's go to Doris.
Bit out of control there, guys, but Tom Crean told us this morning, I'll live with those kinds of mistakes because I want these guys playing to their instincts, and their instincts is all out all the time.
You know, Doris, that's why they're going to turn the ball over a little bit more than most, because they are going to utilize that speed and quickness, and you're going to make mistakes. But you're right. You want to take advantage of their skills.
Double team on Zubek. At 7-1, he dribbles his way out of it. Now shot clock at 5.
Oh, look at that passing ability.
Henderson gets a second chance. And it's out of bounds. It'll stay with Duke. It is rugged around the rim.
How often are you going to see guys his size pass the ball as well as McRoberts?
Marquette picked 4th in the Big East behind Pittsburgh, Georgetown, and Syracuse. Duke picked 2nd in the ACC behind North Carolina.
Pittsburgh looks impressive early. Georgetown had that loss to Old Dominion. Lane Taylor's club shot the 3 really well.
Nelson misses his first 3. Now 3 for 4 from beyond the arc.
Look at that quickness, how quick they pushed the ball up the floor.
And James at 5'11", who had a couple of alley-oops last night, couldn't finish this one. Paulus, as they go tumbling out of bounds, the call is going to go against Marquette and Matthews, I believe.
What about the pride that these kids are playing with? I mean, that's got to really impress the coaches. Tom Crean, who worked under Tom Izzo.
Boy, that's a tough call against Matthews, I got to tell you.
Yeah, really tough call. Tough call against Matthews. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Paulus got that right arm out there and basically shoved Matthews out of bounds, and Crean is saying, how'd you call it that way?
Yeah, he agrees with you. There's our Doris. Look at Doris looking on.
She's got the best seat in the house.
Yeah, it was a tough call right there, fighting for that loose ball.
And that foul puts him over the limit.
Greg Paulus coming back as you look at Tom Crean from that foot injury. caused them a lot of missed practice time. He's the catalyst. He's the key of this club. He's the engine. Over the years, Duke has had so many outstanding point guards.
As a freshman, he led the ACC in assists. We saw him knock down a couple of threes last night. That helps open things up for other guys.
I think he's going to have a big year. I think you're going to see this guy get better and better and better. His confidence level, he knows they need his leadership ability.
Defending Matthews right now, giving up size and athleticism. James trying to save Nelson. What a battle that is.
Look at that dish.
Barrel inside.
He dropped a dime right there. Oh, did he drop that dime? Dominique. Yes, not Dominic, it's Dominique.
An outstanding. That's right. And it's spelled Dominic, pronounced Dominique.
That's a zone. Out of the man-to-man. He can pass over the top of that zone.
Henderson can elevate and get his shot off. Doesn't go down. Look at Nelson keeping it alive. McRoberts it twice and finally is fouled.
Take a look at the ball handling skills. We're going to witness right here of James. Gets right in the lane, and then he drops the dime. Little fundamental sound bounce pass. Get into the traffic right there. Utilizing the bounce pass for you young kids. Use the bounce pass in traffic. So much more difficult to defend.
McRoberts to the line for Duke.
Just wondering when you think out loud if the General Robert Montgomery Knight was at Indiana. When you look at the likes of James and McRoberts, and you think about Odin, you wonder how many of those guys would have worn an Indiana uniform.
Instead, they're kind of scattered around the country right now. We'll see Indiana 1 week from tonight at Duke as part of the ACC Big Ten Challenge.
And I can't wait to see Thad Matta's club. You talk about great backcourts, that young backcourt they have. Certainly Jamar Butler's a veteran, and Lewis can play back there as well. But you think about Daquan Cook, you think about Michael Conley, they are talented.
A week from tomorrow, Ohio State at North Carolina, 9 Eastern on ESPN. 11 games in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and all of them on the ESPN family of networks. It's one of the most fun events we work on every year.
Another game I'm looking forward to is the Wisconsin game against Pittsburgh.
Extra pass, Fitzgerald. McNeil gets bumped by Henderson.
Henderson may ultimately be the best freshman because he's such an athlete.
Hey fans, the last two NBA champs take the floor on ESPN tomorrow night. It's Miami taking on San Antonio, available in high definition on ESPN HD, and the coverage begins with a Kia NBA shoot-around at 7. And then a Feast Week presented by Lowe's continues from Hawaii, 10 Eastern tomorrow night. The championship game, Georgia Tech against the winner of Kentucky, UCLA. The Bruins are up 8 at the break on UK right now. Another bucket for McNeil. He's got 8. Marquette back within 1.
He's got that good medium-range jump shot. You know, you mentioned Duncan and Wade. Two guys, two superstars. Really appreciated life in college. Tim at Wake Forest and Wade at Marquette.
The lob doesn't work. A turnover committed by Duke. Marquette will have the ball when we come back down 1 in a great game here in KC. Well, this has been some kind of fun so far here tonight. Duke up 1 on Marquette, and they've been trying to go for the lob a lot. Doris Burke was at practice today and tells us why.
Well, they were stressing to Usman Barrow that he must see the guys behind him as well as the basketball. Now watch his face, guys. He is looking and he sees the basketball, but he doesn't see the Duke guy behind him, Dick. And I'll tell you this, Mike Krzyzewski questioned his ability to have the vision. Thanks for the telestration. Dick, you always talk about it. You've got to see ball, man, and the guys behind you. You've got to be an alert defender.
They really worked on that. They looked on a video, they analyzed it, evaluated it, and that was, they wanted to attack that area. Barrow's a tough kid inside. He understands the role of his job as a front court player. That's what I love about both these clubs. Players understand their roles, and they all play within a team. It's not a bunch of individuals. It's about guys working as a team.
Fitzgerald, a handoff to James. Marquette trying to take the lead. Fadeaway jumper, not there. They crash the glass again and get a fresh possession. And McNeil is fouled by Shire.
They really create foul opportunities with their quickness, their explosiveness. I'll tell you, the Big East is going to have some interesting matchups this year. There's the little fadeaway jump shot. We're going to watch the offensive rebound. Here comes Fitzgerald. I mean, Connecticut, I think, is going to get better and better. Jeff Adrian's had 4 double-doubles already. They got about 9-10 players they can rotate, and they block shots.
McNeil a little bit long. Fitzgerald taps it back out. Fitzgerald's been active. He's done some good things tonight.
And you talk about the Big East, you got to think about, certainly, I think Louisville's going to have an outstanding year. Rick Pitino's got a good freshman from Wisconsin, Jerry Smith.
Fitzgerald open for three.
He can shoot it. That's his forte. He's a different kind of front court player. He's not a Steve Novak who had 41 in the first Big East game ever for Marquette when they blew out Connecticut.
Marquette with its first lead since it was 6-3 back in the early minutes of the game.
They're so tenacious. They will not go away.
Zubak. McNeil is called for the foul at 6'3". He got up and challenged 7-1 Zubak.
I'll tell you, very quick and very explosive. They got that bounce off the floor. Tom Crean is part of a basketball family. There's the block shot. You talk about a basketball family. I include him in the family of Tom Izzo. His father-in-law, certainly outstanding football coach. Brother-in-law doing a great job at University of San Diego, Jimmy Harbaugh, who I think should be getting some offers from the big Division I schools.
Zubak, the only one of the four freshmen for Duke, not a McDonald's All-American, but as you can see, he was a star in high school.
Well, the Super Garth, Howard Garfinkel, a five-star fan, told you and I last year, he said Zubak will be special. He said he's not getting the attention that he should nationally. He will be special. I think about one of the greatest post players ever at Duke was Mike Cheminsky. The G-Man was sensational. I think this kid's going to head to have a big-time career.
He sits down. Lance Thomas has returned. Martynas Potsus, a sophomore out of Lithuania, in for Duke as well. Kubion along with a three. Another offensive rebound, and Fitzgerald converts.
Not only did he get the offensive rebound, Dominic James, but had the unbelievable awareness how to hand the ball off on the little pass. Now watch the rebound right here. Watch this rebound. Freeze it right here. He's already thinking about how this guy is open, and he's going to drop the rock. There he is, drops him the rock for the layup. Tremendous instincts and an awareness. That's called anticipating.
These perimeter players, they can score, they can dish, they can rebound. Fitzgerald the miss, and Potsus runs it down. Potsus is a guy,
he can shoot.
Yeah, they're looking for a little instant offense off the bench from him. That's his role.
Yeah, he can put some points on the board for them. Shire playing that point right now. Got some minutes in practice when Paulus was out.
Yeah, Paulus on the bench right now. McRoberts held ball. And the air goal takes it the other way.
Oh, get rid of that arrow. Get rid of that arrow. Let the officials throw it up. Alternate possession.
Usman Barrow forces it.
That time it worked out that the defensive team got the ball because the arrow was going their way. But so many times we see it the other way.
Kubion hits McNeil. McNeil on the drive.
How quick is that move? How explosive. I mean, they can hurt you in so many ways. Versatility. Multi-dimensional.
You know, we compared them last night, Dick, to the Villanova perimeter players of a year ago and how dangerous they were. How many teams in America are going to be able to contain these guys?
And that's what Bob Knight told us before the game and also last night. He said, how many teams are going to be much better than this one? Beautiful
up and under by McRoberts. Can't finish, but he'll shoot a couple.
Nice move by McRoberts, getting a little aggressive now offensively. Take a look at this drive, little one-on-one. It's no contest right there. It just goes right to the goal.
Coming up on the halftime report, Carl Ravitch, Fran Fraschillis, Stephen Abardo. We'll take a look at an impressive start to the season for the defending champs from Gainesville. Georgia Tech comes back and beats Memphis out in Maui. And I hesitate to say this because I know it's going to set you off. But the American League MVP is announced, and your guy, Derek Jeter, finished second. He did not win the MVP.
Well, you know, Morneau certainly had a good year. There's no question. I know you're so happy as a Canadian. Your guy, Justin Morneau, had a big-time year, RBI-wise. But I look at all the traits that Derek Jeter brought to the table for the Yankees. I thought he was going to be a lock this year. But I say congratulations to Justin.
A close vote with Morneau getting 15 first-place votes and Jeter getting 12 and winning the balloting by only 14 points. It's one of the closer votes there's been.
Really surprised. I was very shocked. I thought it was Lock City for Derek Jeter.
Final minute of the first half. Marquette up a deuce on Duke. James a contested three. And Barrow doing some great work around the rim tonight, but it's out of bounds to Duke. You know, Ousmane Barrow knows his role on this team. He knows exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Well, that's what we talked about earlier. All their baseline players know how to screen, rebound. They understand their roles, and that's how you put together a team.
You know, in the last week or so, the sports world lost Bo Schembechler, one of the great football coaches of all time. Tom Crean married into the Harbaugh family. His brother-in-law, as you mentioned, Dick, Jim Harbaugh, former player for the Wolverines. His father-in-law, a longtime assistant to Bo Schembechler. But Coach Crean tells us about one memorable piece of advice he received from the coach.
He was my Al McGuire, and so. But I didn't have a relationship where I knew him real well. But I did have my one thing signed by him when I was dating Joni, and he was the president of the Tigers. He signed an autograph on a ticket. Dear Tom, good young coaches don't date, and he signed it, Bo Schembechler. I didn't listen to him, but I've kept that forever.
I spoke at a banquet one time with Bo Schembechler. I'm telling you, when it was over, I wanted to put on a Wolverine uniform.
Really?
His loyalty and his love and his passion, he was an icon. We're losing too many of them in the world of coaching. You think about football and years, we had the Bear Bryants, the Woody Hayes, the Bo Schembechlers. May he rest in peace. He brought many a smile to people in Michigan.
And as Bob Knight told us yesterday when we talked to him, as people know, one of Bob Knight's best friends, Bo Schembechler. Look at that play by Mick Roberts.
I really like his aggressiveness. Somebody's got into his mind that he can score offensively.
First field goal in almost 7 minutes for Duke. Ties the game. The final possession of the half to Marquette. James an early shot, but he nails it.
He is such a big-time handler of that rock, and he has such great legs, which helps his shot.
He's got 9. McNeil's got 10. The backcourt getting it done again for Marquette. Can Duke get a shot off? Poaches from the corner. And we will go to the break with Marquette up 2 on Duke in a great first half.
Terrific first half defensively. Really the intensity. Both clubs well coached. I mean, this is November, and it's got a March Madness feel.
Let's go to Doris with Coach Tom Crean.
Coach, a very competitive first half. Josh McRoberts, difficult to handle scoring and passing. Anything you do differently with him in the second half?
Well, they were picking us apart early when we would dig, and they were swinging it out for open threes, causing us to over-rotate. We're letting him catch the ball too deep. And right now, at the end of the half, they've gone to throwing it back on the pick and pop, so we'll have an adjustment for that at halftime.
Good luck in the second half, Dan.
All right, Doris, thank you. What a first half it was. The championship game of the CBE Classic at Kansas City. Marquette leading Duke by 2. The play of the half maybe to McRoberts on that jam. Let's send it down to Carl Ravitch with the halftime reports. Well, if you weren't with us in the first half, you just got a sampling of the action here in Kansas City, the championship game of the CBE Classic. Marquette in a hard-fought and fun affair, leading Duke by 2. As we go to the second half, one of the keys, Marquette forcing turnovers, 10 Duke turnovers. They scored 15 points off those turnovers. How does Duke adjust in the second half? Doris Burke will tell us.
They talked about finishing plays. Feel like they missed too many easy shots inside. The only other thing, do a better job with Marquette's guards getting offensive rebounds. They had 4. They want their guards to keep them in front and check out, guys.
Duke with the first possession, Dick.
They got to get some shots for Nelson. Started off on fire in the last part of the game. Didn't get many opportunities.
James gambled and he loses. McRoberts hits Paulus and Duke takes the lead.
It's the passing ability of McRoberts which makes their half-court offense so effective. You got to stop that. Drives right to the goal. His quickness, change of direction. No one rotates over to give any help at all.
How many people in America do you think are going to be able to keep James out of the lane this year?
Well, you better be able to get help. He can beat the initial guy, but he should beat 2 or 3 others who should rotate to the basketball.
James, McNeil, and Matthews, who scored 55 last night, have combined for 25 of the 36 here tonight. McRoberts for 3. Nelson with a rebound. And just too much size in there, too many bodies for Marquette.
You know, Nelson's last bucket came at the 14-15 mark. Now watch us change the direction. Nobody rotates over. Now how they all played matador defense. They waved at him. You gotta forget about your man. The priority's gotta be the basketball in your rotation.
Matthews wide open. Somebody missed an assignment right there.
Those three guys on the perimeter really are lethal. They are lethal.
Marquette defeated Texas Tech to get here. Duke beat Air Force last night. Air Force defeating Texas Tech earlier tonight in the third-place game. Well, again, the quick hands of those Marquette guards.
Air Force is going to have a big year. You want to hear something about the Big East tonight? I'll tell you about the Big East tonight. Wofford beat, you ready for this? At Cincinnati, Wofford beat Cincinnati. Want another one? Jackson State beat Rutgers. Two Big East teams went down.
Thomas gets his man in the air, and he'll go to the line.
Nice post-up ability by Thomas. He's playing for little bragging rights right now. His two other buddies in high school are playing for Marquette. Kubian and Burke. There's a nice fake. See what did him? He froze the defensive player with a little head fake.
That is the fourth foul on Jameel Lott, who has played sparingly here tonight. He'll go back to the bench, and Dan Fitzgerald, who played very, very well off the bench in the first half, comes in early here in the second half.
Well, they have contrasting styles. Fitzgerald capable of shooting the three, came the way of Tulane.
Remember, Fitzgerald suffered a shin injury late in last night's game that looked like it was serious at the time. Eventually walked off the court under his own power, and he looks fine here tonight.
You know, basketball success at Marquette has really been special. Al McGuire, in a 10-year span, went to the NCAAs 9 times, won that national title in '77.
James with a good cut, but then lofted it right over the backboard. Meanwhile, out in Maui, the game going on over on ESPN. UCLA and Kentucky are tied in the second half. Here, Marquette leading Duke by 1. 2 unbelievable games in great early season tournaments.
Kentucky's going to be better. I've been saying it all year than all the people have been stating. I think Bradley's going to break out, and Crawford and Morris is going to have a big year for them.
Nick Roberts gets a step on Barrow. And we have a held ball. The arrow will give it to the Golden Eagles.
I think it's a positive for Duke is that McRoberts has really tried to be a little bit more aggressively offensively.
Dick, he's been averaging 6 shots per game. He's had 7 in the first half.
Yeah, I talked about that early in the game, about averaging a little hesitation right there. Should have blown right to the goal and laid it on the glass. But he's got to shoot the ball 14, 15 times a game, Dan.
Good matchup here. Fitzgerald and Thomas out on the perimeter. Now McNeil trying to shake the much bigger McClure, and McClure got his hand in there.
McClure did a great job defensively with that deflection.
McClure recovered from knee surgery last year, sat out as a medical redshirt. Paulus misses the 3.
And they come at you in waves, Marquette, as they push the ball up the floor.
McNeil had an electrifying first half at times between the points and the steals.
So did James.
One of the best perimeters, one of the best backcourts in America. You chose your Super 7, and Marquette's on that list.
Yeah, and right now both clubs are working so hard in their half-court offense.
Barrow sets the screen, now slips to the goal, and lays it in.
Great two-man game right there. Two-man basketball. Bring the ball from the perimeter, get the good angle for the entry to the box.
A back-and-forth affair here in the championship game of the CBE Classic. Marquette in a battle of unbeatens up by 3.
Big East, ACC going head-to-head. That's Paulus. I tell you, he's averaging 20 minutes a game coming into this tournament. Forget about the 20 minutes now, baby. Those minutes are going up, up, and up.
McClure ties the game.
Great look right over the top of the defense. The defense rotated to the basketball, got into help position, and they used the skip pass right over the defense.
Out of Richfield, Connecticut, solid defender and a rebounder. Shows he's got some long-range shooting ability as well.
Sat out all last year with a knee injury.
McNeil uses the glass, doesn't get it. Offensive rebound, Matthews doesn't get it. And it'll be Marquette ball as it's tapped off the back of the backboard by McClure.
This is a great test for both these clubs this early in the year, just like Kentucky and UCLA. Rather than blowing out cupcake cities and really not finding about your team, you find out your strengths and weaknesses in matchups like this. This is a real final exam. It's not like taking one of those cupcake classes. This is like taking trig, chemistry, classes I stayed away from.
I was going to say, how much trig did you take?
I had to stay away from that.
Now, Duke's got some other final exams coming up a week from tonight on ESPN as part of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. They'll play Indiana. A week from Saturday, they'll host Georgetown. We'll have that game on ESPN2.
You and I will be there for both those games.
Nice reverse by Barrow. Another great find.
I'll tell you, what a nice bounce pass by James. He's got great eyes and vision.
James now with 6 assists on the night.
Tom Crean's going to really have a lot to be excited about and jubilant about this year.
McRoberts trying to back down Barrow. The kick to Paulus. Nelson, who was hot early, held in check recently. The lob!
Oh, that's a... Are you kidding me? Are you serious? DeMarcus Nelson to Josh McRoberts. The Duke crowd that's here jumps with joy. Do you think they'd go bananas at the Cameron Indoor Stadium? It's a
sellout here at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. More Duke fans than Marquette. McNeil turns it over. Duke's got a chance for the lead.
They're going to get the ball in the hands of McRoberts and good things happen.
McClure wide open.
McClure giving him such a productive time off that bench. McClure really's been a factor off the Duke bench.
Duke up a pair 5 minutes into the second half.
I tell you, as soon as Duke scored, Tom Crean was up waving. Come on. Get up the floor.
James for the lead. And the foul by Fitzgerald will tie the game.
I'll tell you, Fitzgerald really working on the glass. You would expect that from him. This is a great college basketball game. Call your friends up, man. Get on the phone. Say, get up there and watch this, baby.
Fitzgerald with 7 off the bench to tie it up again. Paulus all the way. The dish to the cutter. And McNeil fouls McRoberts. Second time tonight, McNeil's challenged the big guy.
Nice little dish from Paulus to McRoberts, the 2 veteran players. McRoberts has to be a star, and he's becoming a star rather than just a solid player.
No back down from either team here tonight. McNeil called for the foul. McRoberts to the line trying to break the tie when we come back to this terrific game right after this.
Dan Shulman, Dick Vitale, check this out. Feels like March right now, from Maui to Kansas City and everywhere in between. Kentucky and the Bruins battling, and watch Aaron Aflalo's explosion right there. Blown by, lays it in, gets fouled. It's all tied up, 55 all.
So a tie game in the second half in Maui, a tie game in the second half here to Kansas City. Feast Week presented by Lowe's, living up to expectations, Dickie V.
Oh, I'll tell you, just been brilliant. You know, last night Marquette had that transition game going. They had 18 points in transition, only 4 thus far tonight. There's the little lob up on top to McRoberts. They really got that down almost like a science, those 2 guys. That's the second time he's flipped it up to him.
McRoberts now with 13. He's the high scorer in the game, Dick.
He's got 11 shots he's taken, and that doesn't sound like a lot to many of you, but he's only averages, Dan and I spoke about, 6 shots a game in his first 4.
And he's stuffing the stat sheet as always. 4 rebounds and 4 assists as well. Fitzgerald short on the 3, rebounded by Zubak, who's checked back in.
They did a great job of challenging him on that shot. I would go inside. I got a big size differential inside, and I would go to Zubak and get some touches on a low box.
He's trying to back down Barrow.
Lob up to him. I tell you, Barrow's really played well. He's 4 for 5 tonight, 23 solid minutes, working hard on the glass. Usman Barrow, really one of those solid inside players who you need to win.
Out of Senegal, has only been playing basketball competitively for about 4 years. He comes up with a rebound.
Paulus had an easy layup right there, but a little bit too tricky. Should have just laid that up simply with the left hand on the glass. Take a look at the ties and changes.
David Kubian, number 10, back into the game and out for the Golden Eagles. Boy, McNeil is not gun-shy about mixing it up with the big fellas.
He'll attack anyone, offensively and defensively.
He's late getting back, 5-on-4, open shot, and a foul in the corner. 3 free throws coming for John Shire.
They've been able to control Shire. Shire, an outstanding 3-point shooter, hasn't been able to get those open looks. In fact, that was one of their goals in terms of their scouting report. Match up and find Shire.
Shire out of Northbrook, Illinois, attended the same high school that former Duke player and current Duke assistant Chris Collins went to, and many fans around Illinois certainly know once had 21 points in a span of about 75 seconds in a high school game. Shire did.
And Mike Krzyzewski was sitting here watching. Hey, the power of Duke. Think about it. We talked about it the other day. I mean, he's coached by Bruce Weber's brother. He's Mr. Basketball in Illinois. Illinois having all kinds of success at the time. Headlines galore. The Orange Crush is a great place to play. And yet he says, I'm going to Duke.
Let's go to Doris.
Let's go to Doris. Doris.
Tom Crean talked about this, guys. Duke now with a 5-point lead. He said there's not a team in the country that goes from 5 to 10 better. Dangerous time for Marquette, guys.
Yeah, Duke really does a great job in terms of spurts.
Zubak fouls McNeil, who again is going right to the rim every time he gets the ball.
He likes to attack the big guys and try to get a piece of this. I think in a Marquette team, you talk about this club attacking Marquette in '77 when they won the national title. And trust me, I knew a little bit about that team.
You beat them that year, right? As
yeah,
coach
we
of
got
Detroit.
lucky. We beat them over in Milwaukee, won our 21st in a row. But they had Bo Ellis, they had Butch Lee, Mr. Basketball. He was from New York City, the way Clinton High, Jerome Whitehead, Jimmy Boylan, a fine guard, Bill Neary, Bernard too. They had beaten North Carolina for the national title, Walter Davis and Phil Ford. Best point guard I've ever seen in college, Mr. Ford.
McNeil misses a pair.
See, in games like this, you got to make free throws. You got to make free throws. All those little special situations usually are the difference. Oh, he stripped him.
Great hands, McNeil. Matthews, no! McNeil with a follow. He's everywhere.
I'll tell you, you talk about a warrior. You talk about a guy that really plays the game with pride and passion. Gerald McNeil out of Chicago.
They love to get it down the floor and get it up on the rim. They are relentless in transition and on the offensive glass.
I mean, he just stripped Wallace, took the ball right away from him.
McRoberts doing more handling on the perimeter now for Duke. Zubak and Dwight Burke banging the big bodies on the interior.
Two guys from out in the East, New Jersey. Both playing at St. Benedict's Prep, Denny Hurley School.
3-second call going against Duke. Let's take a look at McNeil's hands just ripping that ball away.
I mean, he just strips him, takes the ball. Paulus is saying, where's the contact? Call the whistle. And then look at him staying with it, McNeil. He deserved the deuce. After making the steal, he deserved his deuce.
He's got a dozen, and he's earned every one of them here tonight.
He wants to be big man on campus, BMOC. Were you big man on campus?
Never.
Neither was I.
McNeil again. This time a miss. Fitzgerald crashes the boards. He's down behind the play, just getting back. 5-on-4 for Duke as Fitzgerald gets back into it.
Zubak, oh, they don't dump it inside.
Nelson. And it'll be out of bounds to Duke.
How to recognize the post player and when to give him a ball is a special art.
We'll have an update from Maui, that Kentucky-UCLA game, when we come back right after this timeout. Duke by 3 in what's been a really entertaining game, and Marquette showing us tonight did what they showed last night. They're going to hustle with anybody. Their deflections, their steals have led to a lot of buckets at the other end.
Well, when you talk about all the facets of hustle play and being aggressive, deflections are one of them, and that's what they do really well. If you force a turnover, you deflect the basketball, you block a shot, those are all parts of hustle basketball and aggressive basketball.
The Golden Eagles have turned 12 Duke turnovers into 17 points tonight. It is Duke up 3. This is the championship game of the CBE Classic, formerly known as the Guardians Classic, here in Kansas City. And they're about right on pace, at least through the half, with 24 deflections. It's a stat they chart. It's something they talk about every single day in practice. Coach Tom Crean is relentless in his team's pursuit of the loose balls.
I know Rick Pitino takes great pride in that stat as well. He was on the staff with UB Brown when he first learned about that stat.
3 of the freshmen on the floor right now for the Blue Devils, including Zubak.
They got to go to him more often. He knows how to score. He's got a scorer's mentality. He's got that little edge, that competitive edge. I really like his potential. He is Mr. Poe.
He's got 8 points off the bench tonight. And coming into the game, Zubek had been averaging over 9 points per game, even though he had been playing only about 11 minutes per game, making the most of his opportunities.
Yeah, he's going to get more minutes as he gets a little more familiar with the college game, the speed of the game.
Foul on Thomas of Duke, his first. Hayward back into the game for Marquette, along with Kubion. James underneath. The littlest guy on the floor somehow found some room under the rim and lays it in.
I'm in love with that kid. I think that kid is one of America's blue chip players. You talk about the top 10 in America, I have to believe Dominic James has to be on your list.
And we mentioned last night most preseason lists had Ronald Steele of Alabama and Dominic James of Marquette as the top 2 point guards in the nation.
Don't forget about Sean Singletary down there. He's outstanding as well.
Virginia?
Yes, sir.
Great hands. Boy, McNeil is something else.
He is really so. He's the heart and soul, I think, of his team. He sets the pace. He sets the pace. He sets the pace with his toughness. In the Windy City, baby, he is as tough as they come. Oh, they're going to love him. Blue-collar town, Milwaukee. They're going to love this team.
And now contact away from the ball. Kubion of Marquette's going to get called for the foul. And you begin to feel maybe folks in this building who don't have an allegiance one way or the other are really starting to pull for Marquette right now.
Well, that's like the Yankees and Notre Dame football. There's that anti-element. There's those that love them and those that hate them. Oh, look at this here. Look at this right there. I mean, these kids are playing with such pride, man. Such passion.
McNeil has brought the Golden Eagles back within a point. He jabs at the ball again, trying to take it away from Paulus. McRoberts. Everything but the finish. The ball on his back, and Hayward comes up with it, and the Golden Eagles can retake the lead.
So underrated, the kids like Hayward and Barrow and Fitzgerald.
Kubion for three.
Kubion, tough. He's as tough as they come. I saw it last night. Played at St. Benedict's Prep, one of the great high school programs in New Jersey. He is as tough as it comes. Timeout by the Dukies, baby.
A 9-2 run for Marquette, and they're up.
Wow, I can't believe it so early. This is unbelievable, Dan.
Marquette on a 7-0 run to take a 2-point lead, and it's been those guards, the little guys. Dominic James, the smallest guy in the game, finding space. A 5'11 guy going up over a 6'6 David McClure, Dick, for the layup.
Oh, there he is with the great legs. He's so much bigger than his size. He plays so much bigger. Just really, he and McNeil, they just attack the basket, you know, in the lane. He's 32-20 when you think about points in the paint. Marquette's got the edge. The little guys, 32-20. It's a dozen.
And David Kubion, you saw him with the three that's given them the lead. He's the freshman. He's the fourth perimeter player, but getting a lot of minutes and playing great basketball.
And they just changed, rotated out of man-to-man, go to a 2-3 zone. Duke worked on this today on an attack the ball, get it to the big guy. Oh, look at those hands. Look at the quickness. Look at the elevation. Up and away. Hello, Milwaukee. Hello, Milwaukee. Now they rotate, change defenses after the score, go to a man-to-man.
9-0 run, Marquette.
They're going to make Shire have to put the ball to the deck.
Thomas gets it back. Now it's Marquette basketball as Burke rips it down.
They are playing with such heart, such toughness, such tenacity. Tom Green has to like what he's watching. The effort is supreme. Duke needs to stop right here. Uncle Mo right now is on the side of the Golden Eagles. Uncle Mo's arrived, Dan. It's right.
Uncle Mo's in full force right now. A 9-0 run. McNeil and over the back of Nelson. And it's going to go on Burke for going over the back of Nelson. Let's go back to that last play, Dick.
There's the strip, and there's the kick out. And here goes the elevation and the reverse jam.
Wesley Matthews told Doris in the postgame interview last night that he and James and McNeil, they're like three brothers out on the court. They love playing with each other, always unselfish, and you can see that when they play basketball.
Yeah, they really enjoy playing. All winning teams have that. You can't win if you have players that don't want to play as a unit together, especially in basketball. You can get away with it in your sport in baseball. If I play right field and you play third base, I may never talk to you. I may never have anything to do with you.
Let's talk about your Super 7, your best backcourts in America.
Oh,
Dick.
we're going to see Kansas. We're going to see them down there Saturday night in Vegas. Ohio State, love them. And wait till they get Greg Oden. Marquette, Florida. They just know how to win when you talk about Green and Humphrey. And they got the best front court in basketball with Brewer and Horford and company. UCLA, you're watching tonight. Collison and Flalo. I love Virginia's dynamite duo and Gonzaga. And you know what? These are all so close. You can almost flip-flop them. And you think about Carolina and Duke, very young, but very talented perimeter games as well.
Well, the four perimeter players from Marquette had 66 points in the win over Texas Tech last night, and they've got 39 of the 56 here tonight.
I can't wait to go to Chapel Hill next week. That's a museum down there. Dean Smith, we spoke to yesterday. Michelangelo, Roy Williams has such a young, talented team. I think Tyler Hansbrough is going to be tough to beat for National Player of the Year. I love his toughness.
Josh McRoberts now with 15. The Blue Devils back within 2. James is going to create. He's got a much larger player on him in McClure trying to stay with him.
Look at McClure right now. Size, but doesn't have maybe the quickness to play James.
Matthews, the fadeaway over Nelson. What a rebound by Lance Thomas.
Lance Thomas is a warrior inside. They got to get DeMarcus Nelson a little involved offensively.
Thomas with 6 rebounds. He had 15 points and 8 boards last night.
Nelson started off so quickly.
He's got 11, and he had all of those in the first 5-6 minutes of the game.
Exactly. He's been very quiet.
Had a career-high 23 last night against Air Force. McRoberts a travel.
I tell you, he's done a great job looking for McRoberts.
Duke looking for a way to slow down Marquette's perimeter attack. So far tonight, they have not had an answer for the high-flying Dominique James and friends. And the bench loves it here in KC.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by eHarmony.com. Are you ready to fall in love?
Bruins holding tough against a very game Kentucky team. Watch the battling down low. Luke Richard and Martin Butte in a 65-62 game. Muscles his way up and in. 67-65 under a minute to play, boys.
All right, Carl, thank you. Great game on ESPN. Great game here on ESPN2. Feast Week presented by Lowe's. If you're just joining us here at the top of the hour, what a game this has been between Marquette and Duke. The championship of the CBE Classic has been a classic from the moment they threw the ball up in the air.
Well, both clubs really getting after it defensively and really shot selection. You don't expect it to be really that good this early in the year, but it is. I mean, what matchups? Kentucky, UCLA, Marquette, and Duke, and really playing super.
Marquette playing Tom Crean basketball, giving it their all. Duke's very young team responding, staying in the game. Decent shooting by both teams. Look at the free throw disparity as Marquette, surprising they've gotten to the line that little considering how much they've attacked the rim.
Well, now that you come down a stretch, Dan, you got to make sure the right people are touching the ball and the right people are shooting the basketball.
Paulus on the bench stick. Shire handling right now for Duke. McRoberts. And the follow is good. Nelson ties the game.
DeMarcus Nelson with the great offensive rebound, but a super aggressive move by McRoberts.
His first basket. Nelson had 11 points early. His first basket since the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game.
You know, heard Carl Ravitch. I like to get his feel on the MVP. He knows baseball.
Off the fingertips of Shire, Marquette's ball.
Take a look right side of your screen. There comes DeMarcus Nelson with the tip. I tell you, I like the fact that McRoberts has become aggressive offensively tonight.
McRoberts with 15, Nelson with 13 for Duke, James with 15, McNeil with 14 for Marquette.
Good step out. Lance Thomas, good hedging. This guy has such confidence. He's got that air about him. Look at him explode right to the basket. He got fouled prior to the charge. Charge came a little bit later. He will go to that free throw line. Dominique James, how much are they going to love this kid in Milwaukee?
Just a sophomore, picked first team all Big East preseason, and just like McNeil, he doesn't care who you are, how big you are, he's going right at you on his way to the rim.
I'm going to tell you who's going to be better than people believe as well. Syracuse. I think Jimmy Boeheim's club with Devendorf's going to have a big year. Their diaper dandies, very physical. Harris, and they got 5 guys who are veteran players. When you talk about Roberts and Watkins
Nichols,
and company, yeah, I think they're going to have a better year than people believe. And Jimmy Boeheim knows how to work. He and Calhoun are so similar. In fact, Calhoun now is emulating him. He's saying, you know what? I like what my guy Jimmy B does. He doesn't leave New York. I'm not going to leave Connecticut.
Couple of Hall of Famers.
Yes, sir.
And got one on the sideline here tonight in Mike Krzyzewski. Had one earlier tonight in the third place game. Bob Knight losing to Air Force. McRoberts. And it's out of bounds. Stays with Duke. Barrow, quietly, under the radar, has been a force on the interior tonight for the Golden Eagles.
And he's also scored. He's made 4 out of 5 attempts around the basket. Guzman, beautiful kid. Spoke to him before the game.
Nice dump down. Nelson takes the bump. Followed by McClure to tie it.
Starting to hurt him. I think McClure has given him a positive contribution off that bench.
When you put together a glue guy Dickie V team, David McClure might find a way onto it. He's just got his hands in everything.
Yeah, he's a blender. He's a guy that you have to have, those role players we talk about.
The last 2 NBA champions take the floor on ESPN tomorrow night as Dwayne Wade and the Heat take on Tim Duncan and the Spurs. Available in high definition on ESPN HD. Coverage begins with the Kia NBA shoot-around at 7. And then a Feast Week continues in Hawaii tomorrow night at 10 Eastern. Georgia Tech taking on the UCLA Kentucky winner for the championship. UCLA up 4 in the last half minute out in Maui right now.
Hey, I'll tell you, Canada must produce all you guys. I mean, John Saunders, you. I heard John the other night with Greg Anthony and Tim Legler. I thought they did a terrific job. They really blend so well. I love listening to Anthony and Legler, and John sets them up.
He does.
You set me up. You set me up.
I set you up.
He used to be Country John when he worked in Canada.
He's the
all
best.
Right, here we go. The last 5 minutes should be really interesting.
Paulus has returned for Duke.
I don't need him down the stretch. I want to give him a little rest. He's only been averaging about 20 minutes a game.
McClure, an offensive rebound. He's got a nose for the ball.
He has been really a positive force off the bench.
Mike Krzyzewski says still not 100% healthy after that knee surgery last year, but he's playing great. McRoberts, no, it's a travel.
He lifted his pivot foot prior to putting the ball to the deck.
Second time tonight, McRoberts has been called for a travel. 16 turnovers committed by Duke.
Timmy Nestor with the call. Michael Eads, Timmy Nestor, and Reggie Greenwood. Pinstripes, these guys have been working very hard, doing a solid job.
Matthews flies to the rim and draws the foul.
It's a tough game to call, too, because the teams are so physical.
Look at Tom Crean stomping and pacing constantly on that sideline.
Does he work that sideline? Oh, his wife Joni saw her before the game, gave her a kiss with his beautiful family.
When you watch them in practice and they're working on something in the half court, Tom Crean is in constant motion, walking around and around. He never stops walking during the practice.
He's in great shape. This game's going to come down to, I believe, special situations as you look at his beautiful bride, Joni. Hey, I'll tell you this. I got a question for you. Maybe we don't call Stump the Schwab up. Stumpy, Schwabe. What school has produced the most players on the NBA roster to start the season?
I'd go Connecticut.
You know, you're right.
Am I right?
Connecticut at 14, Duke at 13, Carolina 12, UCLA and Arizona 10, and you're a cheater because I saw you look at my paper. I saw him look at my paper.
Look.
He cheated. He cheated, Schwabe. He cheated.
Turnover and a foul committed by McRoberts. Good foul there. Otherwise, Marquette had an easy layup in all likelihood at the other end.
They had a 2-on-1 break, but if it comes down to making free throws now, then really going to open up this gap late, but there was a good foul because they're not in the bonus situation.
That's right. 16 foul. Next one puts Marquette at the line. Marquette's already over the limit.
It's going to come down to free throw shooting down the stretch the last 4 minutes.
And Marquette's barely been to the line tonight, and they're not a great free throw shooting team.
They execute out of their half-court game better than I thought. I thought they'd be more of a transition team, but they execute really solid.
James for three.
Big time. Big time. A star. A PTP, baby. A primetime performer. Mr. James. Not Jesse James. That's Dominique James.
22
Dominique.
for James.
I'm going to call him King Dominique on a campus in Milwaukee.
They sent him home in the summer, Dig, and they told him, work on that jump shot. That's how you get to the next level.
And he's worked on it, baby. He's worked on it. He said, I want to be like my guy Dwayne. I want to be like Dwayne. I will never forget that performance he had against Kentucky, Wade, in 2003. He had that triple-double, and he put a show on, and he's still putting a show on. I told you the other day, the only two guys I'll pay to see play. I'll pay for LeBron, and I'll pay for Mr. Wade.
This is the largest lead of the night for Marquette, trying to win the CBE Classic. They're up 6 on Duke, 4:26 to go. As you look at the freshmen tonight, and the freshmen did a great job last night against Air Force, tonight they have not exactly held up their end of the bargain here against the Golden Eagles.
Shire's not getting any looks, can't get any open threes. Henderson certainly hasn't had a lot of minutes. I like going to the NBA, but I got to get free tickets. I don't like paying for them.
Last night you said Dwayne Wade is a guy you'd pay to see.
Oh, I'll pay to see him and LeBron.
And LeBron, right?
Yeah, I don't like giving my cash up now.
Let's see how Duke responds.
He wants the ball. He was actually calling for the ball. McRoberts was calling for the rock.
Remember, he's a lefty.
He's having tough luck. He's missed about 3-4 shots. Tough luck on those attempts around the basket.
Blair did one of the officials, wanted a foul call. Good ball movement by the Golden Eagles. James again.
Oh, big time. Big time players want to play with the spotlight on him. He is really playing for the national spotlight.
He earned a reputation as a freshman last year as a great late game player. He's going to take it up a notch to QB this year, it looks like.
Yeah, he really is, Dan. He wants the ball. He's made big play after big play. Great head fake. He beats Paulus with the head fake, and there's the little jump shot. The bench loves it. Look at the jubilation.
Welcome back. UCLA had a big lead at the break, and then Kentucky came storming back, but able to hold off the Wildcats. Luke Richard and Baton-Boutte there with the flush, and then Aaron Aflalo had another big game for him. Bruins doing it on the defensive end, leads to some points on the other end, and they go on and win. Kentucky's out. UCLA will take on Georgia Tech in the final of the Maui Invitational. They beat them 73-68.
All right, Carl, thank you. For those of you just joining us after watching that game, it has been a terrific game here at Kansas City as well. Nip and tuck until the last couple of minutes. The guy that you see pointing to the sky pregame, Dominique James, the reigning Big East Rookie of the Year. Dick, he has taken over this game in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, he's earned the right to be the MVP. I'll tell you, UCLA, physical brand of basketball. Ben Holland's done a terrific job reshaping that whole scene. And what a terrific win over Kentucky, setting up a final match against a good young Georgia Tech team.
Look at that run by Marquette. Duke and Marquette in the championship game of the CBE Classic. Both teams ranked, both teams unbeaten. It was a two-point game of the half, but Dominique James has taken over in the last couple of minutes. McRoberts has been working hard for every inch of real estate here tonight, but the big guys from Marquette are banging him hard, and nothing is falling right now for the sophomore. Hey, you mentioned UCLA, the 4 teams who will host regionals next year and will hope to get to Kansas City in this tournament. UCLA,
Maryland,
Michigan State, Maryland, and Missouri, which will certainly draw a crowd here in KC.
Well, Michael Anderson's got them playing aggressive basketball. They're undefeated right now. They haven't really been tested. Had one tough matchup with Davidson and Bob McKillop, who does a heck of a job. It's been really the James show. He and McNeil, this kid has got so much confidence. Look at the bounce. Kicks it out.
Wesley Matthews. the intensity of the Marquette team, the deflections, the steals, the transition as that ball goes off McNeil's foot. The last few minutes, that has started to take its toll on Duke.
Well, no matter what happens here score-wise, you know and I know that Duke's going to have a big year again this year, and so is Marquette. There's no way in the world now that this club is down at the bottom of the top 20. They are a legitimate top 10 basketball team.
And as you say, even if Duke loses this game, Mike Krzyzewski
they're going to be very good.
Will tell you that they will grow from the loss, and the best thing this young team could have happen to it early is to play this caliber.
Well, exactly. They played tough caliber last night, beating Air Force, and they will use a game like this to really progress. Playing matchups with Indiana, Georgetown. I can't wait to get to Cameron Indoor Stadium, one of my favorite places.
And they play about every power mid-major there is in the country. Holy Cross, George Mason, Kent State, San Jose State. And look at them hustle to help their star back to his feet.
You know, Marquette really has taken over the game late because of James and McNeil. They have set the tone, but also don't forget some of the defensive ability of Marquette. Boy, look at the hustle. I mean, these guys are battling and battling.
Foul on McRoberts sends James back to the line for the 1-and-1.
Two guys from Indiana. Richmond, Indiana is going to be mighty proud of Dominic James.
One struggle for Marquette has been free throws, though.
This game's not over. If they get a big three here, it could get a little interesting. McRoberts made some great moves, just didn't complete the play. He could shoot it.
John Shire, the freshman, the miss. Lance Thomas had his fingers on the ball, then had it knocked away, and James will bring it up the court for Marquette.
Their scouting report was to neutralize and to shut down the shooting of Shire, and they have done that.
Now a little more patience by the Golden Eagles. The clock is their ally.
Well, now it's going to become free throw shooting time. Make free throws, and they walk back to Milwaukee with the gold trophy.
And now James is down. Dominique James is down on the court.
I didn't see what happened there, Dan. Did you?
No. It was knocked down the last trip by McRoberts. And we'll have to see what caused this, but the best player in the game here tonight is down on the floor and in some discomfort.
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell, especially from where we're sitting, but you hope it's a cramp and nothing more.
Looks like David Kubian will be checking back in. Tough to tell there if it's a cramp, maybe rolled the ankle.
Gives the indication that it looks possibly like a cramp, but again, not being a person. He's holding, could it be the ankle?
Tough to tell if it's a cramp in his lower right leg or the ankle, but he's not putting much weight at all on that right leg, and he's going to have to be helped off the court.
Wow. Tell you a great addition they have to that staff is Jerry Seasting. Brings 10 years of NBA experience, former player at Purdue.
Pick him up, Kubi.
Well, now Kubian, the freshman, comes in place of James, but one of the luxuries Tom Crean has is McNeil and Matthews can handle the basketball as well.
Yeah, they're so deep on the perimeter, but anytime you lose a player like James, I mean, you just can't replace that kind of talent.
Shot clock inside 10, less than 2 minutes to play.
But I like this kid. Kubian from out of a diaper dandy is as tough as they come.
Fitzgerald.
Look at him out hustling on the glass.
Matthews a rebound. Now McNeil comes up with it.
Mike Krzyzewski can't be happy with that effort. Can't be happy with that effort. They get 3 opportunities.
Matthews and Thomas getting after one another for the loose ball. His tempers start to flare, and a great job by the officials to separate the teams.
A lot of frustration. Reggie Greenwood took over right there, made sure he separated both clubs. He told them before the game, I was out there in the middle when he was talking to all the captains. He told them, well, no nonsense. You guys are going to play basketball or we're going to put you to the sideline.
I've seen you do a lot of things. I've never seen you get in there in the huddle with the officials and the captains before the game. And Doris tells us it is just a cramp for Dominique James. He's trying to walk it off.
I wanted to hear what the officials say. I was watching, wanted to hear what they said.
Fresh 35. They can afford to be patient again. Paulus with a foul, and now the free throw shooting will begin.
James wants to come back in the game. He really wants to come in. He said, come on, coach, give me some PT. Give me some PT. He said, no, you just stay on the sideline. We don't need you right now. We don't need you right now. Go back on the sideline.
James may be a strong-willed kid. I don't know if his will is stronger than that of his coach. Well, time now to hand out our 2K Sports Player of the Game award, and that's going to that guy right there.
He better come back and get his trophy.
He's coming back.
Hey, come on back here, Dominique.
He's coming back.
Hey, Dominique, where you going? Hey, Dominique, give me a sandwich. I'm starving. We haven't eaten since 2 o'clock.
Marquette by 9. James trying to run it off in the tunnel and trying to talk his way back into the game.
Dominique James, what a performance tonight. Is there any doubt he's a 3S man? He's super scintillating, sensational.
Now, at halftime, they were playing a video game here in the arena, but you know that this hasn't been the way it's gone for James tonight because he missed that shot. And he hasn't missed much at all, and he's still trying to work that cramp out.
Brad Missler and I had lots of fun working with EA Sports, doing a video college basketball game.
Dick, another missed free throw.
They got to convert here, though. Duke's got to find an open guy and knock down the 3.
Marquette 8 for 14 from the stripe. Another miss from McRoberts. He is 4 for 16 from the floor.
Really frustrated because he's around the basket. He's a left-hand player using that right hand.
McRoberts has to be frustrated. So many looks in close.
Yeah, he really made some great up and under moves, some great head fakes. The ball just didn't fall for him. Attacking the basket. Watch this right here. Now spin back to the right hand. He's a left-handed player. Doesn't get enough on the glass. But those eventually will all fall in. This Duke team's going to have, I think, a big year. I really do. I think you're going to see the young people mature, get better and better and better. Just like you watch these kids from Marquette. These kids now have grown up when you're talking about Matthews, McNeil, and James. King James is absolutely as special as it gets. He's better than I thought, man. He's better. I thought he was going to be really good, but he's better than I thought watching him for 2 nights here.
Kubian looking very confident at the line. Knocks down the first and the second. 2 big free throws for the freshman.
What a big-time player. He's going to be off the bench. Physical, tough.
Thomas inside, fouled from behind.
Kubian played with Thomas in high school at St. Benedict's over in Newark, New Jersey. This is a big win for the Marquette program. Anytime you go to the winner's circle and you beat a team like Duke in the top 10 with that name Duke, this just really elevates your program. It helps recruiting. It helps Tom Crean when he gets on the phone and calls people up. It excites them.
That free throw by Thomas Dick snaps an 11-0 run for Marquette in the last few minutes. This game was tied at 58.
Finished 10-6 last year in conference play, 20-11. I'll be surprised if they don't finish much better than that. I think the conference has got some real questionable teams on the bottom. We saw an FDU beat a Seton Hall already this year. A Wofford beat a Cincinnati. A Jackson State beat a Rutgers. So there's a lot of potential teams. Those teams are going to get better because I know Fred Hill and Bobby Gonzalez, they're going to recruit like you cannot believe and get quality players. But right now, it could be a little struggle.
You can see a big game against Wisconsin. What a rivalry that is. 2 great teams, Marquette and Wisconsin, on our air on ESPN December the 9th.
That is going to be a major game. Bo Ryan against Tom Crean. I mean, you're talking about 2 big-time teams this year in college basketball. I think, everybody's conceding almost Ohio State as the best in the Big Ten. Hey, watch Wisconsin in the Big Ten.
You're right, and I know you think Illinois is a team to keep an eye on as well. The lead is 10, just over a minute to go here at the Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. The CBE Classic, formerly the Guardians Classic. Marquette on the verge of winning it. Fitzgerald did not touch that, so it's going to be Marquette basketball. Another turnover. That's been one of the big stories tonight. Duke has turned it over 19 times.
This guy knows how to win. Beyond Basketball, a brilliant book that his daughter helped him write. You people should get it. It's out right now. They did a great job with it. Mike Krzyzewski doesn't win like he has national titles, 7 out of 8 years, ACC tournaments, without knowing how to get a team to regroup after a loss.
Nelson short on the 3. Fitzgerald another rebound, and he's wrapped up by Thomas.
And he will be the first to sing the praises of the kids at Marquette. Their effort tonight has been so special. Look at the Super Souths. Look at the Super Souths. Especially look at the numbers. But you know what? Wesley Matthews did a heck of a defensive job after Nelson got on fire. But look at the numbers. 40 between McNeil and James.
And look who's coming back into the game, Dick.
He wants to get back out there, and then he wants to stand tall and get the gold trophy. I want to thank Rick Giles and all his people. The CBE Classic has been outstanding.
Putting on a great job. Great tournament as always.
Great tournament. Jim Haney, the NABC. Everybody's been phenomenal. Thank you to all the guys in the truck, the camera people. Thank you, Doris Burke. I'll see you down there in Vegas. We'll be in Vegas. Oh, I can't wait. Thursday night, see Tony Braxton. Friday, I see Celine Dion with you and Mr. Schwab.
I hope you make it to the Florida-Kansas game on Saturday if we can fit it into your schedule. Numbers. Oh, that's a carry. Oh, he got away with a carry there. He was going to pass that basketball.
The best in Vegas is Danny Gans, but he's not performing this week.
Hey, this is not the only tournament going on. How about a Feast Week college basketball doubleheader on ESPN2 tomorrow night? From the NIT season tip-off in New York, we saw Butler. They're terrific. Those guards, they'll take on a very good Tennessee team. Gonzaga, North Carolina tomorrow night at 9.
And Bruce Pearl has brought in a certain excitement now down in Tennessee. Chris Lofton to play. I love the backcourt when you talk about Gonzaga, but North Carolina. Roy Williams knows how to put a team together. Some people say too much talent. I don't buy it. I'd rather have more talent. Like Jimmy Leland said, get me talent, baby. And baseball with the Tigers, and that's what Roy Williams has done. And they got a great blend of young players and veterans.
Greg Paulus, part of the dejected Duke bench. McRoberts the same.
They're winners. They're going to come back. They just know how to win. They'll get back to the gym. Coaching staff knows how to win. Rojo, Johnny Dawkins, certainly Chris Collins.
Lance Thomas with a lay-in.
It all starts with the leader, Mike Krzyzewski, a Rolls-Royce solid gold super coach.
Shot clock is off. Marquette can run it out. What a win for the Golden Eagles. And those deflections, that hustle, their transition, a big key tonight.
The Golden Eagles have been absolutely brilliant here. They impressed the General Robert Montgomery Knight last night, and they've impressed Mike Krzyzewski tonight. This club is a legitimate, right now, early in the year, top 10 team in America. And what a showdown when they play Wisconsin. That's respect, my friends. That's respect.
Tom Crean and the Golden Eagles, led by Dominique James, defeat Duke by 11 to win the CBE Classic Championship. The World Series of Poker is up next. And be sure to watch our post-game extra on ESPN News. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Dick Vitale, Doris Burke, and our entire crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying so long from Kansas City. Thanks for watching. Marquette wins.